Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. You know, we continue to follow the latest surrounding what happened in Rockdale County, that chemical fire at a biolab facility there. So now as you head out the door, if you're in the metro Atlanta area, you may actually smell chlorine and you might even see some haze. And it's that large chemical plume that's still filling up the sky. And again, this is days after the chemical plant fire in Conyers. And because of all this, outdoor activities at Atlanta Public Schools are moving inside today. And there are several other changes as well. Atlanta News First reporter Josh Skinner is at APS headquarters, and it's just the latest development in this ongoing saga.
There will be school today in the city of Atlanta. It'll just look a little bit different than most parents and students are used to. All outdoor activities will be moved inside today. That includes a planned APS event surrounding a brand new playground at the Barack and Michelle Obama Academy in South Atlanta. The Georgia Poison Center has said that current levels of chlorine in the air do not pose a major health hazard to most people, but still recommends exercising caution and taking precautions against exposure.
Try to minimize outdoor activities and outdoor exposure. If you could find yourself, getting into a house, closing the windows, closing the doors, running air conditioning, if it's one of those units that does not pull air from the outside, you can minimize exposures and thus minimize any kind of symptoms that you might experience.
And if you are feeling the effects of that chlorine, of that chemical smell today, maybe a sore throat, runny eyes, and it's just really bothering you, you are encouraged to call the Georgia Poison Center. They have their phone number up on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. Reporting in downtown Atlanta, Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
And recovery efforts still underway after Hurricane Helene devastated so many parts of Georgia. 25 people were killed in our state. Hundreds lost their homes. Thousands are still without power right now. And Sarah Hammond has more on resources that are coming to Augusta by the end of the week.
We're here at the Atlanta State Farmers Market, where in just a few minutes, people are going to begin loading 5,000 boxes of food and supplies onto trucks to ship that down to Augusta. DeKalb County leaders are calling this the Good Neighbor Express to get food and emergency supplies to some of the Georgians that were the hardest hit by Hurricane Helene. The emergency assistance comes from a mutual aid agreement signed by DeKalb County CEO Michael Thurmond and Augusta Mayor Garnett Johnson yesterday. They'll start loading up here at 8:30, and the supplies will be delivered tomorrow morning. Now, this relief comes as both presidential candidates visited the state earlier this week. Former President Donald Trump in Valdosta on Monday and Vice President Kamala Harris in Augusta yesterday.
I've been reading and hearing about the work you've been doing over the last few days, and I think it really does represent some of the best of what we each know can be done, especially when we coordinate around local, state, and federal resources to meet the needs.
Let me begin by sending our love to every family that has been affected by the Hurricane Helene. I witnessed the damage firsthand yesterday in Georgia.
President Joe Biden is scheduled to visit Valdosta today, and Governor Brian Kemp is going to give an update on recovery efforts at 10:30 this morning at the state capitol. In Atlanta, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
And another story that we're following as well, we're talking about teaching students how to stay safe on the roadways. The LUTSI 43 Foundation, alongside the Georgia Department of Transportation, is hosting a safe driving summit for Alpharetta High Schools. And you might remember this all comes after that deadly crash back in May involving 5 students, 2 of them from Alpharetta. Kids are going to hear from Wellstar EMTs, officers, GDOT officials about the importance of being attentive and following the rules of the road. The summit started a short time ago, and it is going to continue throughout the day. All right, let's talk about the forecast here. And one thing that has kind of been a cloud over this beautiful weather we've had, quite literally, the air quality. Here's First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris.
Hey, good morning to you, Joy. Air quality will be an issue again today. In fact, you may already see that as you step out the door in Atlanta. Just so you know, our air quality, the actual level today for Atlanta is moderate. Moderate is actually not out of the ordinary, truth be told. That means that if you're like extremely sensitive to pollution and smog, that's something that will impact you today. Again, that's a moderate, not out of the ordinary. They start issuing alerts whenever we get to orange, a code orange. We're not even at a code orange today. So again, for Atlanta, we look to be in good shape. Obviously, if you're in Rockdale County, it's a different story. So keep that in mind, Rockdale County. What we've been saying here on Atlanta News First is just to kind of use common sense. If you smell chlorine or if you feel any insensitivity, limit your time outdoors for sure. But again, the air quality itself today is moderate for the city of Atlanta, which means it's actually not terribly dangerous unless you are already super sensitive to the pollution or to smog. So here's one difference I do want to tell you about today. It's a very important map. So as a kind of context, as a resetter, we have the biolab in Rockdale County, that is in Conyers. That's where the fire was. So today our winds have shifted back around from the east and southeast. Now Monday, remember, a lot of people in Atlanta could smell that chlorine that was in the air. Tuesday and Wednesday in Atlanta we were fine. But now that our wind has shifted back from the southeast, you can see on this map how that is already blowing some of that smog back into Atlanta. So you may smell chlorine in the air again today. Now, GEMA says that even if you smell chlorine, it's not actually dangerous. The levels aren't that high, so you'll smell it, but it's not dangerous. That's according to GEMA, the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. But again, if you are already sensitive to air pollution, definitely limit your time outdoors, and Rockdale County is obviously going to remain a different case because you're right there at that site in Conyers. So that's our situation today. Again, in Atlanta, you're likely going to smell that chlorine, even see some smog in the air just because our wind direction changed. But GEMA says that this is not a dangerous situation, just something that you will notice, and that's not only today but really through the weekend as well. So switching gears from the air quality to your actual forecast, and it'll turn out to be another really decent day in North Georgia. Yesterday's high was 86 degrees. The normal is 79, so definitely above average. Today we're up to 84 degrees, so similar but not quite as hot. One change today compared to yesterday, as you can see, about 3 o'clock, some spotty showers will be out there. That same southeasterly wind that I was telling you about in relation to the air quality, that's bringing in moisture out of the Atlantic. So with that extra moisture out there throughout the afternoon, we cannot rule out a stray shower or two, especially after about 2 or 3 o'clock through sunset. The coverage is only 20%, so you can keep your plans. No storms or anything like that, but don't be surprised if you see a few showers out there. And then the same story for Friday. Isolated showers will be possible, that coverage right around 20%. So that's what you see in your 7-day forecast. Today's high is 84 degrees. For Friday, the high is 79. The reason why it's a little bit cooler on Friday is because it'll be a lot more clouds out there Friday afternoon. So today we'll see more sunshine. Friday it'll be mostly cloudy, and because of those extra clouds, it won't be quite as warm on Friday compared to what we're seeing today. The weekend is looking fantastic. Partly cloudy for both Saturday and Sunday, with highs staying in the 80s. And next week we have some big changes in your forecast. A cold front is moving through next week. It's going to bring in some drier air, and you will feel that starting Tuesday. Tuesday, the low in Atlanta will be in the upper 50s, so you'll feel that when you step out the door. Nice, crisp, cool start to your day on Tuesday. Only 78 for Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday will drop down to 54 degrees in Atlanta, which means some upper 40s possible for you, especially in the mountains on Wednesday morning, and then 75 for Wednesday afternoon. So next week is what we will highlight in terms of our next big change. Otherwise, we'll basically stay in the upper 70s, low 80s through the weekend, and again, a slight chance of rain on today and tomorrow, mainly in the afternoon. That rain chance so low you don't have to cancel your plans. So I will certainly keep you up to date on the air quality. I want to go back to this map because this is certainly important for us today. Again, the site of that smoke, the site of those chemicals in Rockdale County and Conyers, our winds are out of the southeast today, so that is already blowing some of that back into Atlanta. GEMA says that you may smell chlorine, but you will not have to worry about, it's not a danger. So that's certainly a good thing. Again, you'll smell it, but they say that even if you smell it, it's not a danger unless you're super sensitive to pollution already. So we'll keep you up to date on that on Atlanta News First at noon, and also in the First Alert Weather app. Everybody stay safe. Have a great Thursday, and until next time, we'll see you soon.